WWE Clash in Paris 2025 predictions. That's right, you're not going to want to go anywhere. Instead of doing predictions strictly just off who I think should win, I am going to go by who needs the win more for their trajectory and momentum, because that'll allow this to be a little bit more analytical. And let's be honest, it's way too easy to just pick off your biases. So, hooray! Triple H finally gave us a 6 match premium live event card, not just a 5 match card. The card looks pretty solid, so I'm going to go right into it. The Street Profits are going to face the Wyatt Six, Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis, for the WWE Tag Team titles. And I predict that the Wyatt Six will win this, and they need this much more. Um, Look, I think this title reign, in some ways, is make or break for the Wyatt Six. You know, they disappeared for a long time. It felt like it was stop, go, stop, go. But now I think if they can prove that they can continue to sustain this momentum and have a good tag team title reign, I think they could establish themselves as one of the better tag teams of this era. As long as they keep it up, as long as they stay committed to this gimmick, um, I think they will be all right. And that TLC match with them retaining the titles was a great start. I think they need this win in order to continue to build momentum and prove that this reign isn't a fluke, because you can't be as sinister and unique as them and have fluky reigns. Next, the man Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, I know some may say an underdog like Nikki needs this more to give her character some interest, but I disagree. I think Becky Lynch needs this win. Becky Lynch has been on a roll, and she really has. I would say her and Lyra really helped establish this Intercontinental Championship. But Becky being the star that she is, I think she helped elevate Lyra. She's really given some importance to this Intercontinental Championship, and even what she was able to do with Bayley in the mix. I think all of this has made this women's Intercontinental title feel as important as the women's world heavyweight title at times, honestly. So I think let's keep elevating that intercontinental title, and the way to do that is to continue to have Becky holding it and elevating whoever she works with, because she tends to do so. So I'm gonna say Becky Lynch for sure wins this match. Next, it's gonna be a banger after banger after banger with my man Sheamus going against the Bulgarian brute Rusev in a Donnybrook match. Let's just call it a street fight. No disqualification, no countouts. This is gonna be physical. It's gonna be fun no matter who wins. I'm going to say Sheamus needs this win more. Look, I know he's a veteran. I know he's not the type that you always have to put the world title on. I know he's not the type that is the flashiest and everybody's favorite wrestler, but Sheamus is quietly a living legend. Not many wrestlers in the history of professional wrestling have a resume like Sheamus. And you know what? I know WWE's not calling it this, but I think this should be an unofficial number one contenders match. I can't recall Sheamus and Seth Rollins ever having a feud and a whole program built around one another. Look, I can see Sheamus being a good one-off opponent for Seth Rollins in the Vision. I could see him getting physical, having to go through Bronson Reed, getting physical with a big brute like Braun Breaker in some brawls. Let Sheamus beat Rusev. I think he needs a big signature recent win, and let him go after Seth Rollins in the Vision. We know CM Punk, and we'll get to their match soon. We know CM Punk's always going to be a contender. We know that LA Knight is always going to be a contender in the foreseeable future. Jey Uso's established, so we can't just rotate through those three guys. So let Sheamus get this win, and that gives some momentum, maybe for a one-off match against Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. I'd like to see it. Next, Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, the tribal thief who steals everybody's sneakers like he's from the hood. Look, this is a tough one, but as much as I like my man Roman Reigns, excuse me, Roman Reigns, I gotta say Bronson Reed needs this win. I would like to see Bronson Reed and I think if WWE wants to take a risk and not take play it safe, it shouldn't just be like a 1, 2, 3 or a submit, even though Roman Reigns wouldn't tap out to Bronson Reed. It should be that he gives him so much tsunamis or so much tsunamis and tsunami after tsunami that Roman Reigns just can't answer, get up after a ref's count to three. So have him beat Reigns by knockout, essentially. And I know that sounds a little far-fetched and unique. It might sound a little extra, but I think that's a cool way to show Roman Reigns' toughness and have him put over a monster because he would lose the match, but he wouldn't lose a thing. It would get the world invested in Bronson Reed and help make him as a star. So I think this is a way you can lose to Roman Reigns, could lose to Bronson Reed, and still eventually face Seth Rollins for that World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 42, which I think is the plan. But I know WWE likes to play it safe, so I wouldn't be surprised if Roman Reigns just wins this. But Bronson Reed needs this win. For the World Heavyweight title, Seth freaking Rollins, Jey Uso, CM Punk. Also in the fourth guy, LA Knight. Yeah. For the World Heavyweight title. This is going to be a hell of a fatal four-way. And man, if I was to go selfishly off my own biases, I would say this is a perfect time to pull the trigger on LA Knight. You can argue this guy is all, even though he's never won a world title yet, he is a world heavyweight main event caliber wrestler. He proves it every night with his reactions and his segments and his matches. But Seth Rollins needs to hold on to this title because there's a long-term story being told with the Vision. I feel like the Vision is now finally hitting their stride since SummerSlam, since Seth Rollins shocked the world and fooled us all coming off those crutches. I think that chemistry is finally starting to show with all of them. So to take it off Seth right now would just be too abrupt and wouldn't make a lot of logical sense. It'd be a nice surprise, but to take it off of him, it just wouldn't do a lot. So I say let Seth Rollins keep it. He needs it. And there's some stories to tell still with this new reign of his. And last but not least, I can see this maybe closing the show potentially. The greatest of all time, the never seen 17, the face that runs the place, John Cena versus the Maverick Logan Paul. If you watch my videos at all on this channel, if you watch this at all, you know how I feel about John Cena. I really, in all my heart of hearts, believe he's the GOAT. But I think Logan Paul needs this win, and I think he needs it fairly badly. And I think you can perfectly do this. One, Cena has nothing to prove to nobody. He's on his way out the door. Any wins he gets is a bonus at this point, so he doesn't really need it. And let's be honest, Brock Lesnar versus John Cena is right around the corner. I think the perfect thing to do is make Brock Lesnar destroy Cena behind the ref's back or something and give Logan Paul this big cowardly win so he could brag forever and nobody could ever take it from him. It'll kind of be like The Miz, who always brags about main events in WrestleMania and beating John Cena, even though he won basically in the biggest fluky, weak way. But you can't take that away from him. He did main event WrestleMania. So Logan Paul needs this win. He should win this match. And I think he's going to, honestly. And I think then we get to roll into Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. But those are my predictions based off who needs to win for WWE Clash in Paris. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to us on YouTube at Wrestling with Things to keep up with all of our videos, conversations on the professional wrestling world. We have guests, we have rankings, we have interviews. Just keep up with all our good content. We love building a community here, and we love creating for you guys there. And don't be lazy. All it takes is sliding your thumb, hitting the subscribe button, and even if you maybe don't want to follow us, hit that share button. Share us on your timeline or something. Subscribe at Wrestling with Things.